The accusation that is made against him is that, number one, he was a Nazi, and number two, the most preposterous, and wallahi, it is downright evil what these liars, and they are liars, from the revisionist Zionist camp attempt to do. Because before I tell you the lie, understand, what do they want to do? They want to demonize Palestinians. They want to make them subhuman. They want people to lose all sympathy for Palestinians. How do they do this? By inventing lies, by portraying them as terrorists, by. So one of the lies that unfortunately has gained currency, even amongst some people that are supposed to be academically inclined, is the lie that Amin al-Husseini was the one who told Hitler to engage in the Holocaust. And you will find this online. You will find this amongst many academics as well, some pseudo-academics. Excuse me. You will find this amongst some pseudo-academics. However, there is not a shred of evidence that he actually did anything like this. And I'm going to come back to this point. So the lie is he was a senior member of the Nazi party. The lie is he was of the entourage of Hitler. And then the worst lie, the Palestinians caused the Holocaust. Wallahi, how nefarious. They're guilty. The Europeans are guilty. That race is guilty. And who do they accuse? Oh, it's the Palestinians who caused the Holocaust. You understand now why it's important to talk about this person? Because the justification, by the way, even if one person did this evil, that does not give you the right to do evil against everybody of the same skin color and ethnicity. That's the essence of bigotry and racism. Even if, but that is the notion that is being said here. So let us debunk this and let us clarify what was he doing in Nazi Germany, because he was there for 3 years. So as for the claim that he was a member of the Zionist party or of the core of Hitler's entourage, there is no evidence whatsoever that he ever signed up to be a Nazi. There's no evidence whatsoever that he was close to Hitler. How could he be close when he met him once in 3.5 years for less than an hour? And he met him for what reason? To try to secure Arab freedom. So there is no evidence whatsoever. It is a blatant, lie. And then as for the claim that he helped orchestrate the Holocaust, once again, every serious neutral academic acknowledges there is not even a whiff of evidence for this. Absolutely nothing. It's a blatant lie that they want to just smear the Palestinians with. There is no, and again, we now know, everybody now knows the whole story of how it came about and who was in charge, and was it Speer and Goerings and all of these guys? We all know them. They are. Nobody ever mentions that, Amin Hussein was a part of our secret meetings. He's just a foreigner living in Berlin. However, one thing that, yes, and this is where it comes a bit more awkward, he started being the Arab broadcaster for the German news agency. Because every country, even Voice of America, it has, I don't know, did Trump take the funding away? I don't know, but when I was growing up and throughout the 90s, Voice of America would be across the globe in 20 different languages, right? Every government has a branch that gives news according to its perspective. So because he's a senior Arab, fluent Arab, he did the job. He took the job of being the Arab broadcaster for the German radio. And obviously the German radio is under the Nazi party at that time, okay? So that was his job, where he got money from for 3 years, that he's just reading the Arab news, the news in the Arabic language, right? That's what he did there. Now, some points to keep in mind. And I will be very honest here, because we don't have to defend every single decision he made, but we try our best to be fair. Point number one, he was in exile. Why did he end up in Germany? Because the British wanted to arrest him. Because every other country was forced to let him go. So let's be fair here. The one country that gave him an opportunity to come was Germany. What did you expect him to do? You're the ones calling him a terrorist when you're the ones creating the real terrorists over there. You're the ones calling a genuine freedom fighter, and without a doubt, according to any definition, he is a freedom fighter. Without a doubt, according to any definition, he wants liberty for his people. You're the ones who made life haram for him, so he had to go where he had to go. So the one place that welcomed him was Germany. So he went to Germany because that's where he was given the right to be in exile. Number two, there is no defense of Hitler. I've said this multiple times. Hitler was a very bad person, a very evil person, and I've said this multiple times. Muslims, we have to be careful. We study history. When Hitler was doing what he was doing, multiple Muslim countries protected the Jewish people of that time frame because it was very, very unethical and wrong. The Grand Mosque of Paris, its whole basement became a safe refuge for Jewish people. The Grand Mosque of Paris. In Bosnia, which had some Jewish people, the Muslim ruler said, no way. In other regions that had some ties with Germany, Tunisia, other places, said, we're not going to hand our Jewish people to you just so that you can kill them. This is dhulm. Families come and you're going to kill them. So we have to be careful here that whatever the Zionist entity does, we don't back project our anger to try to defend a person that is indefensible. So Hitler was evil, no question about that. But what I'm about to say is not a defense. In 1930 and 1940, people weren't aware of how evil he was. And this is factually correct. It's not a defense, but it is true. Winston Churchill, up until, I believe, 1940, praised Adolf Hitler. Winston Churchill, the prime minister. And he said, I met him, he's not that bad of a man as people say. I think he's a man who can honor his word. Like, he had some praise for him, up until 1940. Here in our country, Joseph Kennedy, the father of John F. Kennedy, because JFK's family is the royal family of America, his father was one of the most powerful senators, and he was also the ambassador to England, John F. Kennedy's father. John F. Kennedy's father, Joseph Kennedy, praises Hitler up until, I think, 1940-41 as well. Like, I think he's a man who's going to bring, I don't know the exact quote, but he didn't call him a demon. So I'm saying to the people that criticize Amin Husseini, if your own politicians couldn't see through Hitler, and they are politicians, you expect a person who's just a political activist, an ammi, a sheikh, you expect him to know this reality? This is a double standard here. So my point is, we don't know what Hajj Amin knew about Hitler. The claim that is given is that nobody knew the Holocaust was happening or how bad it was until the World War II was over. That's the claim they themselves say to exonerate themselves. Americans say this about themselves. Europeans say, British say, we didn't know how bad it was. Okay, your intelligence and your aerial didn't know, and you expect Amin Husseini to know? An average person. So a double standard is given here. We don't know how much he knew. This is the second point. And then the third point, there's no exoneration, but when you are forced into a corner, and when there is a war going on, and one side is massacring your people, and the other side says, we will protect your people, what choice did you want him to have? And honestly, it's a very difficult point. What choice did you want him to have when he is given the promise by Hitler himself that if Germany wins, then we will stop the Zionist project? Now, obviously, Amin Hussein did not know Hitler's doing more than just stopping the Zionist project. Hitler is exterminating the Jewish people of Germany. We don't know how much Amin knew or not. But what we know for certain, because that was a public meeting, the records are there, is that Hitler said to Amin Husseini that your people, if we win, you give us your verbal support. If we win, we promise we were not going to allow this immigration to continue, and you will have your land free and independent. So what did you want him to do? And you think this is unique to him? Nelson Mandela, there's an amazing interview, go watch it. Nelson Mandela, after all was said and done, and he visited America. What's that guy's name? Ted Koppel, one of the famous guys in, 2020, whatever it is, right? Ted Koppel thinks he got him in a corner. And he says, so in the 70s and 80s, what are your people, the ANC, they met with this guy and that guy. Even you, when you were released, you met with this dictator and that dictator. So he's trying to put him in a corner, right? And it's an amazing interview. This is a leader. I have to say, I admire Nelson Mandela, like a true leader. And it's something that we need to benefit from, the courage that he has. He literally became angry and frustrated at this arrogance of this interview. He said, when you guys were calling me terrorists, when you guys were considering me and my fight to free my people as terrorism, when I was in jail by your own decree, the only peoples that met with me are the ones you call terrorists. They're the ones that helped us, funded us, gave us aid. And now when everything is said and done, you want to take the accolades. You want to pretend you're the better party. You're the ones that called us terrorists and you supported the apartheid regime against us. He literally flipped the script and completely silenced, the interviewer, right? Meaning, what did you want us to do? We were fighting for our freedoms, and instead of helping us, you jailed us, you tortured us, you considered us to be criminals. Now that it's all said and done, you think you're all clean and holy. No, you have no right to now come back and say, I met with so-and-so and so-and-so. Because those people were the only ones that were helping us to fight for freedom for our people. He literally did not mince his words and flip the script here. If this is Nelson Mandela, why should Amin al-Husseini be treated differently? You're the ones who called him, fighting for his people, a terrorist. You're the ones who supported the terrorists against him. You're the ones who wanted to imprison him. So the one place, the one superpower that gave him help, what did you want him to do? And again, hindsight's 2020. Without a doubt that Hitler was not a good person. And, it's in hindsight, we know that nobody should form alliances with him. But again, it's 1940. We don't know the future in this regard. So to conclude, we'll say that Al-Hajj Amin al-Husayni was without a doubt the primary figurehead, the spearhead of Islamic revival to free Masjid al-Aqsa from 1920 up until his death in 1974. Unfortunately, it was Allah's qadar that towards the end of his life, he really was not given the respect that he deserved. His lectures, his influence became much less, not because he changed his stances, but because it wasn't popular at that time to be an Islamic revivalist talking about Masjid al-Aqsa and whatnot. Yet his legacy remains, and he should be somebody that we look up to and respect and we make dua for. And without a doubt, he is free of the accusations that his enemies make. He was never a supporter of Nazi ideology. This is a lie. He was never a member of the party. This is a lie. And without a doubt, the biggest lie is that the Holocaust comes from them. This is a complete and blatant lie. If he made a judgment error, it is a judgment error that we understand even if we don't condone. We understand given the context and we excuse for that. And I am certain if he understood the reality, and obviously hindsight's 2020, he would never have sided or at least been even partially in support of a person as evil as Hitler. But the lies that are said are worse in this regard. And with this we make dua for him and for all our brothers and sisters over there. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us to be able to contribute to the revival of the ummah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.